What would it feel like to be truly, deeply happy, regardless of your circumstances? Did you know that happiness is a choice and not a result? That you can create your life on purpose? Join us now to learn more. This is the Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. And here's your host, mindset coach, and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott.
Hello and welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I am your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. You are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. And I am very excited to be with you today. Well, I'm excited every week, actually. I love doing our show. I love the team that we've got. Haley is with me today. She is providing support, and she's going to be grabbing the information as we go through and posting it into the chat room. So if you are watching us live and you would like to ask a question, please feel free to go to the chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and type your questions into the chat box so that we can see them. So today we have a very special show. Today we are doing one of my favorite workshops ever. I first ran this workshop, I think in 2015 for a local women's networking group. And I was really actually kind of amazed at the reaction, the impact that it had on the women in the room. So the proper title of the workshop is Illuminating Your Purpose, Keys to Thriving in a Changing World. So what we do inside this workshop is we actually look at 7 keys to help you find your purpose, 7 keys to start to shift your life into something that you would like to create for yourself. And how does it get better than that? How does it get better than that? So I'm going to tell you right now, before we actually get going, that I do have actual worksheets that were created for this workshop. If you would like a copy of them, please go to my Facebook page at Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert, or email me at jackie@jackiemott.com. And I will send them to you. And then you just have to find the replay. So they're like every single one of these keys, we've got exercises that go along with them. And that's what we're going to be talking about on today's show. But if you would like a copy, again, find me on Facebook at Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert, or email me at jackie@jackiemott.com. And I will send you these worksheets so that you can actually work through them as you're watching the replay. And Haley says you can email the pages and link to the podcast. Interesting. I didn't know that you could do that. Haha. All right. So I, again, am Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. And what we do on Time to Rise and Thrive is we talk about our subliminal soundtrack, how to get it working for us rather than against us. And also recognizing your unique beauty, your gift, your talent, the contribution that you are to the world. Isn't that exciting? So this is one of those days where we are really going to be digging into that subliminal soundtrack. What that is, just in case you're new to the show and you haven't heard me explain this before, is our subliminal soundtrack is my terminology for that message, that loop of messages that plays in the back of your mind all day, every day. It is made up of little bits of information that you have picked up over the course of your life. So every conversation you've ever had, every relationship, every lesson you've ever learned, every single experience has given you little bits of information that you've gathered together and stored back there on that subliminal soundtrack. Now we use that information to create our belief systems about ourselves, about what's possible for us, about every single thing in our world. So what does it mean to love or be loved? What does it mean to have money or to not have money? What does it mean? All of those things are influenced by that subliminal soundtrack. And the really interesting piece of this is that what we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information. Completely incorrect information. So what if there is, a possibility of something more out there for you, but because of those messages, because of those belief systems, you aren't aware of it, or you don't believe that it's possible for you? What if everything is possible for you? Yay. I just love that. Play with the energy. Feel that in your body. Feel that in your being. Like, where does that land? That idea that, wow, anything, anything is possible. Okay. So here is how this subliminal soundtrack will sort of affect. And I'm going to give you, in the first segment of our show, I'm going to give you a few examples from my story. And then all of the other segments are actually going to be walking through these keys. Oh, so grab yourself a pen and paper or go and find me again, Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert on Facebook. Comment on the post, send me a message. I will send you these worksheets, or send me an email at jackie@jackiemott.com. Okay. So how does this subliminal soundtrack actually relate to the idea of thriving? I would like you to just sort of perceive the difference between sort of doing life in that autopilot, in that survival mode, in that like just day after day after day, versus the thriving, the growth, the possibilities, the juicy, yummy energy, the creation of things that right now may not seem possible, but they really could be. They really could be. So if you are somebody who believes that, things aren't possible for you, who believes, I think about when I'm thinking about this, I think about like the class systems. Do you know what I mean? Like in olden days, the person who was the king had everything, and the person who was a farmer or a blacksmith or a maid or whatever the case may be, they were always a lower class, right? So the things that were possible for those different groups were really based on their beliefs about the class. Now, what I'd like for you to just consider for a second is, maybe in that particular space, that would be true. But what if they decided? What if they decided to just uproot and go someplace where nobody even knew them? What if they decided to go and create a whole new life for themselves and a whole new identity for themselves? That was what that, the immigration, emigration, whatever, from Europe over to North America was really all about, because those things were possible, because there were better opportunities, because you could create something completely different from you, for yourself, for your family, for your children, for whomever. Do you see what I'm saying? That was one of the main reasons why people moved to North America from Europe, was because they wanted a different type of life. Think about the American dream, right? Whatever you want is out there, and whatever you are willing to work toward, to do the things that are required of you, you can have that thing. Do you understand? And it's such a wonderful time to be alive, because that is more true now than it has ever been throughout history. It is more available to us now than it ever has been throughout history. Do you see what I'm saying? You can get excited about this, man. Get excited about the possibilities of what could be available to you. And then as we work through these 7 keys to illuminating your purpose, to helping you see what you could have, there's some work that has to be done. It's not something that you probably are going to snap your fingers or wave a magic wand and boom, there it is. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility too. What if magic is real? What if you could magically just shift your life on a dime? I don't know. Is it possible? In my world, anything is possible. And that is part of the reason why I've been able to create so much joy and so much magic in my own life. It's the reason that I have so much happiness, is because I know that things are out there that I'm not aware of. And that's where the mind gets really kind of, our mind is a beautiful thing. It is the thing that helps run everything in our body. It's the thing that helps us to process and learn new things, but it is also something that it can limit you. The problem with your mind is it's very much like a computer. It is dependent, the thought processes are dependent on what information is already there. So if you're somebody who works on a computer, you know that if you put the proper information in, then the computer will do the calculations. The computer will do the work in the background. Okay. But if you put the incorrect information into that computer, then you're going to end up with a completely different end result. And usually it's not going to be a good one. It's not going to be correct. It's not going to be accurate. So perceive your mind as being very similar to that. All of those bits of information that you've picked up throughout your life are in there, and they are actually the things that are helping you to calculate, to formulate, and they limit you because there are millions of possibilities out there that you're not aware of. There are millions of possibilities of what could show up for you if you were just open to them. But our mind stops us from even considering those possibilities because it is limited to the information it currently has. So that's where this thing, it really is very fascinating for me. When I work with people and we're talking about those belief systems, we're talking about what created them, we're talking about the limitations that they are creating. And then we start to pull them apart. We pull them apart and we look at, okay, so what is really true? I'm going to throw this at you. If you are somebody who was born into a wealthy family, your perspective about money is going to be completely different than somebody who was not born into a wealthy family. Consider this for a second. I know wealthy people. I'm working on becoming one of them. And here is the difference, the mindset difference between the person who has money, has always had money, has never had to be concerned about money, and the person who is not fortunate to have those circumstances. The person who perceives money from a place of, I've never had to worry about it, has a completely different way of being. They perceive money as a tool that will help them to create more wealth or create something different, or to, have a new opportunity. Maybe they know how to do businesses. They build businesses and sell them. I don't know, but just feel that for a minute. So somebody who has never had to worry about money will have a completely different way of being than someone who maybe didn't have the things that they needed growing up, or maybe they didn't have. So it's that lack and abundance, right? And we perceive it differently. So someone who's functioning from a lack mindset is going to create those circumstances. And we're not talking about fault or blame. We're talking about what happens. Okay, this is truth. You will be open to the possibilities based on what you believe to be possible. That is your limitation. Okay, that is always the limitation in any area: money, relationship, health, like anything. Okay, what you believe to be possible for you will be possible for you. This is it. It is something that can really hang us up, because when we are functioning from the place of, wow, what do I feel like creating? What do I want to bring into this world? Do I have the means to do that? Yes, I do. Wonderful. Boom, done. Okay. And when you're functioning from the other place, then maybe you're worried about keeping a roof over your head, keeping food in your fridge, feeding your children, providing for your partner, like whatever it is, right? So money is a tool, and we perceive it the way we do based on our experiences, based on what we believe to be possible. And that is all going back to that subliminal soundtrack. Everything goes back to our subliminal soundtrack. So we are going to head to our first break now. I am Jackie Mott. You are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. When we come back, we are going to go through the first 3 of these keys to thriving in a changing world. So stick with us for just a minute. Don't forget to grab your pen and paper. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. Today we are talking about the 7 keys to discovering your purpose. So once again, just in case you're joining us late, this workshop is one that I have run multiple times and I love. It is one of my favorite ones to do. It is called Illuminating Your Purpose, Keys to Thriving in a Changing World. So that is what we're talking about today. So now we're going to get into the meat of it. If you don't have your pen and paper, grab one quick. And if you want these worksheets, I'm going to repeat that again. Go to Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert on Facebook. Send me a message or comment on the link for today's show, and I will send them to you. You can also email me at jackie@jackiemott.com, and I will send you the PDF of these worksheets. You can go back and replay the show again when it comes out. Video should be out sometime tomorrow. Audio will be out later today. And you can go back and replay it as many times as you need to. You can pause, you can do whatever you need to do and work through these exercises. So without any further ado, I'm going to share with you. This was one of the things that inspired this for me. In ancient Greece, at the entrance to the temple at Delphi, 2 words are inscribed: know thyself. Know thyself. It is so very important. Okay. It is so very important for us to get that clarity on that subliminal soundtrack. And we've talked about this so many times on the show, building a bulletproof belief in yourself, building a bulletproof belief in yourself. That's the foundation. That's the foundation, and it's solid and it's strong. And from that solid, strong foundation, that bulletproof belief in yourself, you can build an entirely different way of life. Maybe you need to go somewhere. Maybe you need to train somewhere, whatever it is. If you are willing to take action and do what is required, you can create whatever you want. Isn't that exciting? Okay. So key number 7, we're going to go in reverse order. All right. Key number 7 is get clear. Get clear. So there are 4 questions that go along. And again, if you request these worksheets, it's all there. So you can print them off, go back and watch the replay of the show, and you will have all of this right in front of you. So the first question is, what do you believe in? I want you to take the time to write down 3 things 3 things that you believe in right now. Okay. The next question is who or what matters to you? Who or what matters to you? And again, I want 3 things. Now, these would be things that, you know, I've talked about practicing purposeful gratitude on the show many times. These would be easy things for you to do. So maybe it's your spouse or partner, maybe it is your children, maybe it is your pets or your home or your neighborhood or your friends or your activities. It can be anything. Okay. It could be your work. Who or what matters to you? And you want to write down 3 things. Our next question is, what do you desire? This is where it can get fun. Now I'm going to challenge you. If you are doing these exercises, I don't want you to limit yourself. Think about it this way. Think about it from the perspective of, if I could wave a magic wand and create the life that I desired, or if Jackie could wave a magic wand, bop me on the head, and I would have the things that I desire. No limits, no limits. This is where you get to play and have fun. Do you want to be a rock star? Do you want to be a model? Do you want to be a TV star? Do you want to have your own talk show? Do you want to, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, would you like to create a not-for-profit business that serves a segment of the population that you feel called to serve? Would you like to be a millionaire? Would you like to live in a certain neighborhood or move to a different country? What do you desire? All right, no limitations, purely dream, okay? Just dream. 3 things that you desire. And now this is where this gets a little bit sticky. What is holding you back? 3 things. What is currently holding you back? Okay, so that is our 7th key. Get clear those questions. Our 6th key, get to know the real you. Get to know the real you. So our first exercise under this one is name 3 things you've dreamed of doing, but you haven't yet. 3 things. So maybe there's a part of the world that you would love to see and you've never made it there. Maybe you would like to start a completely different career. Maybe the career that you chose when you started working was, the right one. You see what I'm saying? That thing that made sense. And so it was the right one to do right now. But maybe you've dreamt of doing something completely different. For me, it was the accounting. It made sense. It made sense. I was, really quickly, I became a mom when I was 17 years old. And I went one day to this career college type place. And I thought, okay, I'll take a 6-month course. I'll become a secretary. I'd probably call them an admin assistant or an assistant or something now. But back then it was, okay, I'll take a 6-month course that says that I'm trained to do secretarial work. And then I will be able to go and get a job that will support my child better than this way that we've been living. When I went into that career college, they did an aptitude test, and I'm very grateful they did, because what my results showed was that I had an aptitude for accounting. And so they presented me with another option, which was this business admin with accounting worked into it, and explained to me that that would increase my possibilities for employment. It would make me better trained to do certain types of work. And therefore I decided to go with that. I think it was another year or something like that. So there was an additional period of training time. There were different courses altogether. But here's the thing. I have been working in accounting in my own business since 2000. Had I not had that aptitude test, had I not listened to their suggestion, had I not taken the different course, I would not have been able to start that business. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe you're like me and you just went with the thing that made the most sense at the time, but there's something else that you would just love to spend your time doing. Maybe there's something else that you are gifted at. Maybe you're somebody who is, I don't even know. Maybe you've got a really, you know, a really wonderful, loving personality and really love children and you'd like to work with children. Or maybe you are a teacher at heart and you'd like to work with a certain segment or teach a certain type of thing, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, what do you desire? What have you dreamed of that you have not yet done? Okay. Now, haha, I would like you to look at that list of 3 things of the things that you have dreamt of but haven't yet done. Pick one. And this week, you are going to take action toward that thing. You are going to take action toward that thing. And this could be something as simple as doing some research. It could be looking at, okay, so I would like a different career. This is a really great example. I would like a different career. And I need to have a certain level of education or a certain certification, or what is it that I need? What is it that I need to have as far as my education, my qualifications in order to pursue that thing? What is it that I need to do in order to get that education? Okay, it can be as simple as doing some research, but I want you to commit one thing you are going to move toward. If you've dreamt of going on a vacation to Hawaii, then maybe what you do is, you start to sort of break down the steps and think about what do you need to do in order to make that happen. Well, there's a lot of steps that have to happen, right? You have to book your travel arrangements. You have to find a hotel. You have to decide how you're going to travel to that place. Which island would you like to see? Would you like to see all of them? Is this something that you could do on a cruise? Is it something that you fly there and you get a hotel room? So do a bit of research and start to feel it out. And maybe you discover that you need some money. So you start to, I don't know, put $5 or $50 or $100 a week aside in order to create the money that you need in order to go to Hawaii. I don't know, take action. This is the thing. It doesn't have to be, okay, I've booked my trip and I've paid for it and I've figured out this. I've booked my hotel room and good, I'm done. I'm going next week. It doesn't have to be that. It can be, I'm going to make a plan to put $5 aside every single week until I've saved up that money. Or again, just doing some research, but you are going to commit to yourself that sometime in the next week, you are going to take action on that thing. So 3 things, the last question, name 3 things about you that are unique and special. 3 things. Now, here's the important part. You are the only you there is. No one else can do what you were created to do in the way that you can do it. So put your humbleness, your humility, whatever that word is, put that aside. What makes you unique and special and beautiful? Play with that. 3 things and more. I mean, if you can come up with 10 or 25 or 100, even better, even better. So key number 5 is find your tribe. Find your tribe. So we have 3 questions that I would like you to ask yourself about finding your tribe. The first, who do you know that makes you feel completely at ease? Now, this could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it could be anybody. Who do you know that makes you feel completely at ease? And if you don't have somebody like that in your life, then maybe you need to look for them. Maybe you need to look for an opportunity to find those people. Second question, where can you turn when you need help? All of us have a support system, whether we realize it or we don't. So this one can be a little bit tricky to sort of sort through our emotions, but 3 people, that's all I want. 3 names of 3 people. Where can you turn when you need help? Now, this could also be an organization. If you are if you're a part of something that like a church or a group of some description, are they people that you can go to when things go off the rail and you need support? That's it. Three names. Who can you call on when you need guidance? So it's a similar question to where can you turn when you need help, and a little bit different. Okay. Who can you turn to with some wisdom? People were meant to be tribal. We were meant to be community. And there were always, if you think back in history, there were always the people in the community that were the wise people, right? Maybe they were the shamans, maybe they were the medicine men or women, maybe they were the leaders, right? So you're looking for, who do you know who has wisdom? And this could be a counselor, it could be a coach, it could be a friend, it could be anybody. So who do you know that has that wisdom when you need someone to offer you guidance? All right. So that is keys, 7 through 5. When we come back from our break, we're going to head right into key number 4. So you are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott. Stick with us for just a minute. We'll be back with keys number 4 through 2 in just a moment.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. Today we are talking about the 7 keys to discovering your purpose. Now, I hope that you've got those worksheets, because they are going to outline every single thing and give you space to write it down. When you go back and you replay the show, you can pause the show and give yourself a moment to really think about it. I have to go pretty quickly because we've got a limited amount of time on the show, and I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today. So hopefully that doesn't get in the way of what I need to share with you, or what I would like to share with you today. So we have gone through keys 7 through 5, and now we are going to start with key number 4. Follow your joy. You can't really see behind me here. Happiness, that's the top of that sign. Happiness is not a destination, it is a way of life. Now, this is where we get purposeful. Okay. This is where we get really purposeful. Follow your joy. When was the last time you felt real joy? I will share with you that there was a moment with a friend of mine a couple of years ago where I had really, I had sort of gone off the rails on the kind of work that really makes me happy. And that was within the relationship and within sort of mm, the box, the box that I had placed myself in. It didn't leave room for that to happen. And then a friend came to see me. We spent some time together and we're talking about stuff. We were doing some energy work together, that kind of stuff. And when she left that day, there was this peace within me. There was this like ease within me. There was happiness. There was just this like quiet, peaceful joy. I felt so good. And so what I did was I started to ask myself a few questions. What would it take for me to have more opportunities like what I had today? What would it take for me to have more people in my life who can interact with me in this way that feels so good? What would it take? And that was where this whole thing started. Okay. So our first question, when was the last time you felt real joy? That bubbly, kind of playful, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's the last time that you really laughed so hard your sides hurt, or the last time that you played with your kids, or the last time you played with your lover, or whomever. Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe it was the last time that you did gardening or wrote something, created something, whatever it was. Remember, when was the last time that you felt real joy? Is what you are currently doing giving you a sense of fulfillment? Now, this is a yes or no. Or is what you are currently doing, and this would be like work-wise, okay, giving you a sense of fulfillment? Do you enjoy what you do? Yes or no? It's easy. It's easy. And I would challenge you not to get caught up in that thought process, because sometimes people ask us a question and we want to think it out. We want to ponder it. We want to give the right answer. Do you see what I'm saying? So there is a place inside you that will immediately know. There's that intuition, that place where it's like, ask yourself a question and immediately get the yes or no. Don't justify, don't play, don't think through. Do you see what I'm saying? That place inside you, for me, it literally is sort of in my gut area, and I get a hit of either a yes or a no like that. So we're talking about our being. We're not talking about our mind, because remember, our mind will limit us to what it knows already. And there are millions of possibilities out there that you're just not aware of yet. So yes or no, is what you are currently doing giving you a sense of fulfillment? Now, this is where it can get fun. The next question in Follow Your Joy is, what makes your heart sing? What makes your heart sing? This is where that, like, really that bubbly place is. Maybe you're like me and you really love to have deep conversations with people and help them break through their challenges or the things that are holding them back. Maybe you really love to walk dogs. Maybe you really love to do accounting. Maybe you really love to do like lawyer stuff, like coming up with arguments and figuring out how you can do things differently. What is a thing that makes your heart sing? And maybe it's as simple. I know for myself, like even some household chores. I don't know why. I know it's weird, but even some household chores can bring me into that place. Turning on the music and dancing around while I'm cleaning, all of those sorts of things. What makes your heart sing? Maybe it's singing at the top of your lungs. What is it? Maybe it's a sport or an activity. What is it? So we want 3 things that make your heart sing. The next question in Follow Your Joy is, what do you do that feels completely effortless? What is it that you do that completely, like it is so easy for you? It is as easy as breathing. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't require physical effort or attention or anything like that. But what are the things that you do that feel effortless? 3 things. All right. Our next key is key number 3. Honor who you be. This one can be tricky. I'm going to be honest with you. This one can be tricky because if we have those subliminal soundtrack messages that tell us that, we need to be agreeable, or we need to be nice, or we need to be pleasant, or we need to be, like nice girls, right? Good girls don't do, or good boys don't do. If we have that kind of conditioning, that kind of programming is playing on our subliminal soundtrack, then when we start to think about these things, it can be tricky. So one thing I'm going to say right now is, if you need help with this, I'm here. This is the stuff that I do. I love to do that. I have all kinds of programs. I have new ones that are coming out in the very near future, groups, one-on-one, all kinds of stuff is coming up. We've been working in the background. There's, see, what do you do that feels effortless or creates joy? There you go. I create these things. I work with people to break through their limiting beliefs so that they can start to create a life that is actually built on their desires. See, those are some of the things for me. Those are some of the truths for me. So number 3 is honor who you be. What are you currently tolerating in your life? 3 things you are currently tolerating in your life. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kids' behavior, maybe it's your financial circumstances, maybe it's anything. 3 things that you are currently tolerating in your life. Second question, if you weren't expending your energy on those things, what could you do that would create something different in your life? So one of the things that, and I'll repeat it, okay? If we perceive that this water bottle is all of the water that is available to us throughout the day, we're going to conserve how much water, right? Or we're going to get really thirsty at some point. So shift that over to, this is the amount of energy that you have every single day. Okay, so what happens is we use a little bit, and we use a little bit, and we use a little bit, and we use a little bit, until we get to the day's end. And if you have sort of managed this well, then either you have a little bit left at the end of the day, or you're kind of breaking even, right? So it runs out at the same time that you need to run out, that you can run out of energy, the time that you're getting ready to settle down and go to sleep. But what happens is that if we overextend ourselves, then we start to borrow against the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. Okay, so if you can see how full it is. So say today I started with a full one. By the end of today, when I'm ready to go to bed, I wasn't quite done, right? My energy was already depleted, but I still had things to do. So you see, now this is today's. Now I have used up a certain percentage of the energy that I should have had for tomorrow, my resources that I should have had for tomorrow. And eventually, if you keep doing that, then it's going to go down, 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 and you're going to start the day with an empty bottle. That's the thing. Okay. So if you weren't expending your energy on holding things together or on tolerating the things that you were currently tolerating, what else could you do with that energy? What else could you do? Maybe you could, take up a different activity. Maybe you could garden. Maybe you could go to the gym and work out. Maybe you could play a sport. Maybe you could join a book club. Maybe you could anything. What would you do if you had that extra energy that you are currently using just to hold things together or to tolerate things that you don't like in your life right now? What could you do with it? All right. And number two is believe you can. You need to come to a place where you can understand the gift that you are to the world. This is our subliminal soundtrack. This is where we need to break through those limiting beliefs. We need to understand, okay? And really quickly, because we have to head to our break, the thing that I want you to really just think about is this. There has never once been another person who was born into the same family with exactly the same physicality, with exactly the same personality, with exactly the same gifts, exactly the same flaws, that has then experienced exactly the same things throughout the course of their lives up until this point. You are the only one that has ever been or ever will be exactly who and what you are. There is not a possibility of another Jackie Mott showing up on this planet now, before now, or ever again. Haley Buchanan is my producer for today. There is only one Haley. There only ever will be or could be one Haley. Do you understand? Because every one of those factors will change. Every one of those factors will change. Okay, so if you were born into a different family, you would have different experiences. If you were born at a different time, there would be different factors that would create your reality or help create your reality. Belief systems, all of it, different experiences. Do you see what I'm saying? Haley says the world can't handle more than one of me. I love it. I love Haley. I would take all kinds of Haley if I could get it. I'm just saying, she's pretty funny. Okay, so believe that you can. You were put here for a purpose. You were created for a reason with those, and whether you believe in like God or higher power or whatever your belief system is, you were created. Two cells came together, and only those two cells could create the you that resulted from them coming together. Think about that. There are millions of cells that go into that equation, and only two could come together to create you exactly as you are. Okay, so you need to come to a place where you can honor and understand that you are the only you that there has ever been. You are the only you that can do things the way you do them. And quite frankly, especially at a time like now, we need you. We need you to show up. We need you to start to get comfortable with whoever you are inside your own skin and start to bring your unique contribution to the world. We need you. So once again, key number 2 is believe you can. Now we are going to head to our last break. You're with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. When we come back, we're going to wrap up today's conversation about the 7 keys to discovering your purpose with key number 1, and then we'll wrap up the show for today. So stick with us for just a moment, and we will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, and we are just about to wrap up this conversation about the 7 keys to discovering your purpose. So we are down to key number 1, and this one is so important, so important. It is very simply this: begin and begin again and begin again. So keep trying. If something isn't working, pick something different and move on that, or shift things, or what do they call it? Pivot. So you don't necessarily need to create an entirely new life. What if you could just shift a few pieces around, and there you have it. There's your joy. There's your happy place. There is your desires being met. Well, what if that were possible for you? The thing of it is many of us get caught up on the idea of failure. We get caught up on this idea that failure is actually a bad thing, but I want you to challenge that. I want you to consider that failure actually is part of the learning process. It's part of the learning process. Cut yourself some slack, give yourself the space to try things. And if they're not working, then shift them and try something different. And if that doesn't work, shift and try something different. You're allowed to do that. Yes, I just gave you permission. Not that anybody really cares, but I just gave you permission. There you go. Okay, my friends. So that is where we're at. Now, don't forget, if you want the actual worksheets to go along with this workshop, go to Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert on Facebook, or email me at jackie@jackiemott.com, and I will send them to you. That way you'll have time to kind of go through all of those exercises. So, quote that I would like to leave you with today: the possibilities available to you are only limited by what you believe is possible for you and what you are willing to take action to create. It's all up to you, my friend. It's all up to you. So that's our show for today. Thank you so much for being with us on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. We will be back next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 Mountain Time, and 10 Pacific. Next week's show is going to be fun. Next week's show is called The Other F Word. Forgive to free yourself. The other F word, forgive to free yourself. I know, I'm silly. And yay. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to forgive in order to free ourselves from the people and the circumstances that are blocking us from creating the beautiful new life that is just waiting for us right there. It's right there. It's right there. And trust me, man, I know it can be to get there, or to go through sometimes things that need to happen to allow us to get there. So we're going to talk about that forgiveness thing. It can be really hard to do. And it's the only way to free yourself. It's the only way to let yourself be in a position to actually move toward the thing. Because as long as we are holding on to that anger or bitterness or whatever it is, the pain, the grief, as long as we're holding on. Remember, we were talking about that in the exercises. What are you tolerating? I'm tolerating myself being in this angry space or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm tolerating this thing. If you let that go, you can then create something completely different with the energy that you're saving from not doing that anymore. I know. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. Again, Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert on Facebook, jackie@jackiemott.com if you want those worksheets. And thank you again for being such a contribution to my world. We will be back next week with that other F word. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you for joining us for Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. Jackie Mott will return next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Have a fantastic week, and remember, it's your time to rise and thrive.